Hello there. What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking a little bit more about the Mandalorian resistance units that were previewed yesterday. I actually missed a whole entire unit card that comes with this particular expansion, so I wanted to talk about the Clan Wren version of the Mandalorian resistance unit today and kind of break down a little bit of the differences between them and still kind of revisit them and kind of talk about my opinion of them a little bit and maybe hear back from you guys, see what you guys think. If you are new here, there is still time left to enter to win the big $100 Amazon gift card giveaway. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. That'll be announced during the Gen Con weekend at the end of one of my videos during that time, so make sure you watch all the way through to the end. All right, so we got the Mandalorian Resistance Clan Wren version. Now, the Clan Wren version is kind of like a strike team, but it's different. It's different in a number of ways. First off, an extra hit point. You're going to see you've got 2 health instead of just 1. 1 mini only, right, as part of the base unit. It has a new equip word, which says equip Tristan Wren and Ursa Wren. Presumably, from what we gather from the article, this means that you must equip both of them. So you must have exactly 1 generic Mandalorian plus Trista Wren plus Ursa Wren, which means to run this, you cannot run them in any other way. They retain impervious, they retain nimble, they gain 2 heavy weapon slots instead of just the 1, or so that I would say they gain 1 additional heavy weapon slot. But the other upgrades are the same. You're also gaining Retinue Sabine Wren at the start of the activation phase. If you're at range 1 to 2 of Sabine Wren, gain an aim or a dodge token. Compare this to the Mandalorian Resistance option here, which had, the other big difference is you're actually going to have an extra black die for melee, so you're slightly better at melee here. But yeah, you got two totally different units, right? And so there's like a lot of different ways that you can actually run these two. And I thought this is interesting, but the weird thing is you're paying 34 points for the Mandalorian Resistance with Ursa Wren and Tristan Wren, and that ends up becoming 110 points worth of, for three units. Now you got 6 hit points total because they're all each gonna have 2 hit points, but it's not a lot of minis, and that's a very expensive cost for a fast unit that's only so it's kind of interesting. So how might you build those out? So I've got Tabletop Admiral open behind me. Kind of look at some build options. So we've got the full Mandalorian Resistance unit here at 72 points. Then we've got the Clan Wren unit with Tristan Wren and Ursa Wren. Now at the time of recording this, it does kind of give you the option of adding the Beskad Duelist, although I don't believe that that's legal, so I'm not going to include that as an option. But at least here with this you got 3 minis at 72 points. Here you got 3 minis at 110 points. Now I get that you got better weapons here, right? Tristan can throw 2 black, but he's got range 3, and he's got lethal and suppressive. And then Ursa, she gets an extra die. She loses 1 of the black for a white, but also gains a red. She's got long shot and dauntless. Dauntless will be really good, and she's the leader. So 2 hit points each. Pardon me. I feel like there's a kind of a missed opportunity if you put both of them in with this Mandalorian Resistance option. And I mean, it could be fun to do, and I definitely I love having the option to do it, even if it's maybe not the best thing, right? So I like being able to do it. Plus, this is like a way to maybe get more heroes and more named characters on the board. So I hope they continue. I hope they continue to do stuff like this. This is really cool. But it's awfully expensive. So what are you really getting when you do this? You're getting a unit that can roll 2 dice per mini at range 2, but 2 of the characters have their own guns. So you've got 1 generic. So she's got 3 Tristan's got 2, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you were getting 7 dice at range 2. 2 dice here at range 3. And you probably have a pretty good chance of getting an aim. So she could do long shot. So you could spend an aim that you would get for free if you're near Sabine. So you stay at Sabine. So you're going to have 5 dice at range 3, which is not terrible. It's, that's about like a stormtrooper's or a rebel trooper's dice. I mean, that's slightly better though, because you do have offensive surge and you only have 1 white die in there. So like that's not terrible. And then at range 2 you get a little bit better. And I mean, you still have the red defense die. You have defensive surge. You have impervious, and that's I think one of the drawing points to this is a lot of people are like, "Oh, red defense die for the rebels," and I'm like, "Okay, sure, but if you're all about the red defense die, then just play Imperials. Imperials have, I would argue Imperials have much better offense than this because of their range. Like range is a big deal. I'm not dead set against range 2, but a lot of people don't like range 2. But it's funny because if you like comparing to the Wookiees, Wookiees which have the same number of dice at range 2 and for melee, they're very, very closely priced, like 75 versus 72 for these guys. But you're getting so many more health. You're getting 3 health per mini as opposed to 1 health per mini. Now I realize that you're also you're losing defensive surge and a whole color downgrade, but I feel like there's a lot of times when I would just rather have hit points, especially if I'm not counting on dice. Wookiees, they kind of become more of a math game where you're going to be able to brute force. I'm like, oh, okay, well you have a full unit of stormtroopers, but the max number of dice you can throw still couldn't possibly kill my Wookiees, so I'm still coming in, and so like I like that reassurance of just knowing I've got X number of hit points and I'm gonna do it. And I had said to somebody earlier today that I've just been used to my red dice rolling very poorly lately, at least the last couple of games, and not really counting on red dice saves, even with impervious, to protect me. And that's they've been kind of against me a little bit, I feel like. So this is interesting though, because you can get this kind of hero unit, but now it also begs the question: how many of these Clan Wren boxes should you consider getting? If running a Clan Wren, strike team, I guess is what you want to call it, uses all of the uniques and leaves you with nothing else. Well, the Mandalorian Resistance unit actually is not bad at all with the Beskad Duelist, and you could run a couple of these. And this isn't like I say 2 tops. I don't think there's really much reason to get 3 of these. 2 gives you still lets you run 3 units because you can run the strike team with both uniques, because that's going to basically be a unique, and but this is what I don't get, and I'm really confused about this, is that this Mandalorian Resistance unit here is not a unique unit. It does say equip Tristan Wren and Ursa Wren, and those are unique units. But the Mandalorian Resistance, so I'm really curious how the rules reference guide is going to refer to the equip term. Now, the article said you have to use them, but sometimes articles have been wrong. So I'm curious if you guys, wouldn't that just be a unique unit? And maybe there's a way around equip or something like that. It's just because if you could run this all by itself, that would be really interesting. Because I think it would be really, really interesting to run a single Mandalorian all by itself. I think that would be, I think that would be super interesting. For only 34 points, you're getting a whole activation. It would really let you pad activations. You're getting, you'd have a really fast objective grabber that, has a chance to stay alive, 2 health. That would be really interesting. This is something I would like to see, but that also could create a negative play experience potentially. So maybe it's a good idea that you do have to spend a lot of points to be able to do it. So let's say we ran the Beskad Duelist on the Mandalorian Resistance. We put him on there. Now we've got 4 minis on this unit. He's got duelist, so you've got Pierce 1, you've got your immune to Pierce potentially. So you can go in there and mess with either enemy Mandalorians or enemy melee units, enemy lightsaber users, and all of that. And your speed 3, so you can get in there. Now, one thing that'll be hard in a lot of builds is standbys. Is something that you'd have to really think about. And with being a melee or range to attack, it's going to be tough to get in there without standby. So what you want to try and be able to do is be able to move directly into a melee with jump, and you have a chance to do that with range 3. So I think that's maybe one of the strengths of this unit. I do like the jetpack rockets. I like them better on the Mandalorian Resistance unit than on the strike team because you have one more mini, so one more potential person firing the jetpack rockets. I think you probably want to put tenacity on this unit, so you get an extra red also. The Beskad duelist is not your leader, so but even when you're down to the last person, you're still going to get 3 dice with tenacity. With 2 left, you're going to get 3 red, a black, and a white. So you still have a pretty strong melee attack when you're almost all the way down. And I also do really like the idea of emergency stims. I think that's a pretty darn cool option. Really like emergency stims. As for when the dice just completely fail you, you get a whole nother turn out of this unit. So, and you give medics the chance to be able to catch up to you and be able to heal you too. So, emergency stims, great option here. But of course that raises the cost up a little bit. Now you're at 124. Of course, if we take those off, we take all that other stuff off. We're only at 100. And we have more minis than the Mandalorian Resistance. So it's very interesting because this would be 8 black dice with Surge to hit. So it's really hard to say like what's the best way to go. I feel like maybe running Tristan, for one Mandalorian Resistance and Ursa for another Mandalorian Resistance. If you want them to be ranged attacking, it's probably a better way to go. And if you want them to be melee, then just run Beskad Duelist. I don't know if you want 3 of these, because if you want melee that bad, you could probably put Wookiees in there. I still like the Wookiees. I'm still a big fan of the Wookiees. Probably always going to be a big fan of the Wookiees. But, and for comparison, let's put Wookiee Warriors in there with the Bowcaster Wookiee. We're at 110 points right there. So now for Clan Wren, you've got 3 minis, no upgrades. You're at 100%, or you're at 110 points. And then Wookiee Warriors with the Bowcaster, you are at 4 minis and 12 hit points versus 6, double the hit points for the same price. I like that. You got long shot, you got lethal there. Okay. You need to have, and also you're more flexible with the Wookiees because, by the way, the Bowcaster gives you Pierce also. So you don't need to worry about spending an aim to get Pierce. This unit just, I feel like this unit wants a lot of aim tokens, and even though they're going to get 1 for free potentially by being near Sabine, I feel like that's not enough. But maybe there'll be more tricks that come out. Maybe there'll be more things that come out very, very soon that are going to give us more aim tokens that are going to make this all work a little bit better. Because while I get the synergy between them and Sabine, I just don't feel like it's strong enough. Like, especially if you compare it to like where Cassian Andor recently came into the game for the Rebels, and like he had so much synergy with Pathfinders and Jyn, and it was just perfect. This one seems like it's just, you get 1 free token. Great. I'm like, I don't feel like that's good enough to make them want to all work together. I get that Sabine gets bonuses for giving orders to special forces. But, I've run Sabine with Wookiee Warriors and, been just as good. I don't necessarily think these are better. They're just different. They're faster, but also more potentially fragile. Interesting. It'll be interesting to see. I'll definitely run them. And they're going to be fun to hobby. They're going to be fun to paint. They're going to be really cool to get on your tabletop. I think mechanically, though, I just feel better about having Wookiees because maybe I just like the Wookiees a little bit better. But hey, to each their own. Well, that's all I've got to say. Sorry, though, I did miss the entire Clan Wren unit yesterday when I did my video, and then sometimes, in a rush to get stuff out there, I go a little too fast and miss a few things. All right, well, that's all I've got for you guys today. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Big thanks for hanging out with me today, and also to the patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I could not do this without you, so thank you for your continued support. I will talk to you guys later. Stay tuned for all the Gen Con festivities, and as always, have a great day.